I like to kind of mix things up on the show. Typically, of course, the name of this podcast is the Emerging Franchise Brands, but I like to mix it up with franchise industry experts and people that come from all the different walks of life in franchising. And so Adam, 1,800 plus franchise locations. So you are definitely not an emerging franchise brand, started in 1989, but we're going to talk a little bit about what I think is particularly unique about your concept is master franchising. But let's start a little bit about you and the beginning and how you got involved with Anago.
Sure. So Anago was founded in 1989 by my father. I had no intention of getting into the family business, so to speak, but it was actually around 2009 when I was actually in corporate finance. I had actually just survived a big round of layoffs that was right after, the big 0809 recession. And he gave me a call and said, "You got to check this Anago thing out. I think I have the tiger by the tail. I got a great idea." And it was about 6 months later that I joined. And his first move, he goes, "Congratulations, you've left your highfalutin finance job, and your first job at Anago, you're going to be a telemarketer by day and a franchisee's assistant at night cleaning a daycare."
And that's exactly how you're supposed to start out. I love it.
Exactly.
So it's been quite a ride.
So I did everything. I've cleaned buildings, I've done sales, I've done customer service, and that was before I even moved to the corporate offices. And then they sent me on the road and said, you don't know what the heck you're doing, so go learn something. And I kind of had to approach everything more from like a servant leadership role of, hey, here's what I know. I'm new to this space, but what can we do for you to, at the franchisee level of what can we do for you to make this business better? And I hope I continue that kind of trend forward of managing the business like that now as CEO.
Your dad did justice for you in having you do all those things. Wouldn't you agree? Because now you're the CEO of the company and you have done everything down to cleaning the offices. Like you've actually done the service. When you're interacting with franchisees, it's not like, oh gosh, it's the kid of the founder that's running the company. You did everything.
Yeah, I think that was his deliberate design. He goes, "I don't want you coming in here like, oh, you're the founder's son or anything like that." There was no silver spoon. I would telemarket until 5 o'clock and then clock out, change into some blue jeans and my Anago t-shirt and some old sneakers. And then I was cleaning a daycare for a little while, for a few months. And this was pre-diaper genie stuff, man. These were like big, 20-gallon bags of diapers where you had to hold your breath before you could open the bin and tie it all off.
You roughed it, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. The name Anago, we got to hear the backstory on this thing.
So it is a kind of a weird name, right? Honestly, I think when we went to trademark it in Japanese, I want to say it means like some sort of eel. We found this out like much later, and you go, great, we named our franchise Sushi. But no. But so side note, Anago is it is eel. It's a sushi. Anago, my father's Greek, my grandmother's like very like the old Greek woman, my big fat Greek wedding Greek. Right. And my dad heard the name. He was thinking about just typical names like, professional maintenance and, kind of generic sounding names. And he had a buddy who used that name for a medical service company. And he was, "Hey, do you mind if I use the name? It's kind of cool. It's unique." And he told his mom, my grandmother, and she goes, "Oh my gosh," she lit up. "Oh my gosh. Do you know that name in Greek means blessed by God?" And so you can't, he goes, "Well, I can't go with anything else now." But so then fun story is this was pre-internet, right? So, you just, whatever, if your mother tells you that's what it means, you listen to your mother. In going through the legal processes and trademark registrations, you have to understand the language of origin before you can register it. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean blessed by God, yeah, I know. but it means something. It does mean something pretty cool. It means it has a Greek origin, and it means to guide or uplift. So we kind of use that as our mantra with our franchisees today. So we like to think that through small business ownership of owning an Anago franchise, we're helping to uplift their lives and guide them through the business ownership path. So it ended up being, still worked out pretty cool.
Yeah. So Master franchising. Let's get right into it. It's not something that I typically see a lot of franchisors do here in the US for the US. They usually, master franchise out international expansion. Tell the audience why you guys master franchised out and a little bit about that.
I think one of the things we have to address, and I always have to address this, is master franchising to the uninitiated just sounds like cooler than regular franchise, right? Like, oh, you want a master franchise? It's like Disney and Disney Plus, right? It's like, it's just cooler. And it really is two totally distinct business models. So the way ours works, that's different from, say, like where a typical master franchise is more of like an area developer type function. Our master franchise and unit franchise, essentially the easiest way to think about it is when you think of commercial cleaning. I'm sure everyone that's listening to this podcast right now is thinking that the image that pops into their head is like the guy with, a vacuum or a mop and a bucket or something like that. When I say commercial cleaning, and that's fine. That guy, so to speak, is actually our unit franchise opportunity. And most commercial cleaning happens to be done at night. So what ends up happening is you have someone who's what we call a unit franchise. They're handling the nighttime aspects of the commercial cleaning business. They hire a crew, they buy the equipment, the chemicals, learn how to use it properly, make sure they're properly cleaning the offices and paying their people and addressing any concerns the customer has. But then the question arises, like, well, where did he get that account? Who's billing that customer? Where is his sales staff? Where is his website? Well, in our model, we've actually kind of segmented the daytime work and the nighttime work into two separate franchises. So the master franchise is sort of what I would say the white collar aspects in a blue collar business. So a master franchise has the website, they have the sales staff, they have the daytime customer service folks, and then they have the people who are doing the invoicing and collections of the invoicing of the customer invoices. So it's like the day job and the night job, if you will. And where it creates a very unique synergy is the master franchise is doing all of that and has zero cleaning staff. They have zero people that they employ at the master franchise level to do any cleaning. It is all sales and back office. And simultaneously, the unit is focusing solely on the cleaning and has zero sales staff, does not need accountants or collection agents or anything like that. And so it creates a cool synergy where everyone's saving a ton of money on overhead by relying on a function of the business on their respective, counter franchise.
Mm-hmm. That makes total sense. I like the way you explain that. Is the master franchisee sort of acting like a mini franchisor?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what they're doing. They're technically called I think it's called a sub-franchisor is the legal speak for that. But the way it works is, so a master franchise would own a particular region, right? So I live in South Florida. The master franchise region would be Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. So West Palm all the way down to Miami. That is owned by the master franchisor. In that territory, they have, again, the sales team and everything like that that's looking for cleaning clients. They sell unit franchises, who are people who kind of join the club, so to speak, and then pay a royalty on any cleaning contracts that the master sales team has gotten for the unit franchises in the area.
What is your role then as the franchisor to both the master franchise and the unit franchise?
The predominance of our relationship is directly with the master franchise. So if you think about it, if the unit is focusing on the kind of the health of the client, the master franchise is focused on bringing in new clients, the satisfaction of the clients, and the money collection. Our focus is sort of on industry trends, the technology, larger picture things, like when a COVID happens, we're the ones making sure that, we're able to quickly pivot and focus on disinfection and the things that people were concerned about at the time. We happen to believe that technology is sort of the way in this space, and it's not something that you typically associate, right? So you don't think janitor technology, Elon Musk and brooms, it's not something you typically associate. They're really from a service level standpoint. I don't think there's anything that differentiates any one of the major players, one cleaning business or cleaning franchise from another, because we all have the same chemicals, we all have the same microfiber mops and backpack vacuums. Where we differentiate ourselves is through the customer service. portion, right? So we have some proprietary software called CleanCom, and if you have an issue, for example, with something that happens with your cleaning, you're able to take out your phone, take a picture of it, send it securely, privately as well. It doesn't give out your cell phone number to the franchisee that happens to be cleaning your building. If you don't speak the same language as them, it has Google Translate built in. It takes a picture. It has built-in escalation. So if they don't respond within a couple hours, it automatically escalates it to the master franchise.
Yeah, Adam, who knew that technology would play such a huge role in commercial cleaning, right?
You'd never think it would be so important, but I think where it becomes valuable is in the customer service piece. In most franchise models, you have what I would call 3 levels of experience, right? You have kind of, imagine you go out to a restaurant with your spouse, right? And you can have one of 3 experiences. You have a delightful experience, good food, good service. You have a terrible experience, right? The food's bad, they're cold, the waiter's a jerk, or you have sort of one of those uneventful, like meh experiences. In the cleaning space, you can only have one of 3 types of experiences. You either get to the office and go, all right, well, I got to work, and you're not thinking about the cleaning, or you get to the office and go, why the heck is my trash can full? Why are there smudges on my desk over here? So we really utilize the technology to focus on those moments where we are less than perfect. We're very people driven as a business, right? It's not something that, pros, you can't outsource our business model. Amazon's not coming to town to replace our business and put us out of business because it has that people component. Mm-hmm. Cons, we're all human and we all make mistakes. So there's an inevitability of a mistake happening. And so we've used our technology to find when those moments happen to make them as painless as possible for us to resolve them.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fiume, or Emerging Franchise Group, LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.